start, sir?
Yes.
So just after the presentation, after discussing this experiment, I may have to go to meet Pro Vice Chancellor Madam for the conference, just to invite her. 5 to 10 minutes. I'll go to Chintan. So by that time, if any queries for me, then you will please handle.
Okay.
Good morning, students. Hope my slides are visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
After repeated request or suggestion, whatever you may think, few students have not joined. Means like most of the students have not joined till now, although it is 11:10 right now. Okay, so you people should join in time because you know we have multiple assignments in a day. Okay, and again, if it would be an offline class, then you have to complete by 2 o'clock, and you have to complete the everything in time, and the demonstration time is also a particular time is devoted for demonstration. Okay, so we cannot repeat it again and again. Okay, so it is a kind request to all of you, please join in time. So let us start. So today is your fifth experiment. It is potentiometric titration of iron 2 plus in more salts. So thus already we have discussed how to determine the iron 2 plus in more salt by using which experiment? In which experiment we have done this one? In which experiment we have done this one? Iron 2 plus estimation.
Ma'am, three.
Three.
Third
Three.
one, ma'am.
I'm third A. Third
Yes.
A.
Third.
So there also we have determined the concentration of iron 2 plus in more salt, but using titration method, but potassium permanganate titration method. Here we'll use potentiometric titration, means one instrument, that is potentiometer, that will use to determine the iron 2 plus present in more salt. Although our aim is same, but here the methods are different. Two different approaches we are approaching in a two different methods to determine the iron 2 plus present in more salt. Okay, so there here the extra benefit by using potentiometric titration is that we can use in very dilute, or means like when the concentration of the iron 2 plus is very low, there it can be used, and also colored solution it can be used, in turbid solution it can be used, but in that case it is difficult to find it out in case of potentiometric titration. Here it can be, it is, these are the benefits. So again also we are using in our real world application that we'll discuss in the other slides. So the history of potentiometric titration is like this. The first potentiometric titration was carried out by Robert Behrendt at Ostwald Institute of Leipzig, Germany, and then Butger, he has developed the tool of potentiometric titration. And again, the titration was first used for a redox titration by another one scientist, Protogino. He titrated halide ions using potassium permanganate using a Sine platinum electrode. Here we are also using platinum electrode as the working electrode and a calomel electrode as the reference electrode. You know, to get the EMF, two different electrodes are required. Here also we are using two different electrode. One is your reference electrode, another one is your indicator, or working electrode. So it involves the principle of potentiometric titration. So here it involves the measurement of the potential of a suitable indicator electrode as a function of the titrant volume because here the ion, as the ion changes, the oxidation reduction is happening. So iron 2 plus to iron 3 plus, it is like converting. So there is one electron transfer reaction. So that is showing an EMF. So that we are measuring by using the potentiometer. Okay, so it provides more reliable data, and it is very useful in the colored or turbid solution, and it is automated, and although it is little bit time consuming. So that is the limitation of this experiment. Okay, so as I already told, so during there is the development of a potential when the concentration of the substance or the analyte is changed. Okay, so we are adding potassium dichromate to the Morsel solution. So they are like, which is the oxidizing agent here? Which is the oxidizing agent here? In this, yes, potassium dichromate is the oxidizing agent. So here, so in the oxidation reduction reaction, there is an electron. It is one electron reaction or two electron reaction? One electron transfer reaction.
Ma'am, can you
Okay, so-
explain that one?
Yes, I'll explain. This is actually your laboratory. I just wanted to show you. Okay, this is your laboratory only. Okay. So these are the real world application. Reaction is this one. Potassium dichromate, iron 2 plus in more salt because it is FeSO4. So what is the oxidation state of iron here? Iron 2 plus, isn't it? So iron 2 plus will change to iron 3 plus, and potassium dichromate, what is the oxidation state of chromium here? +7.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is changed to +3. So how many electron transfer reaction this one? How many electrons are taking part in this redox reaction?
4 electron.
1.
So due to the here platinum is the that will conduct the electron, and the oxidation reduction is between Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus. So it is one electron transfer, and here the reference electrode is the Calwell electrode. So by completing this cycle, you are getting an EMF. So that you are measuring by using the potentiometer. So this is the basic principle of this titration. Okay, the whole idea is that here we are adding potassium dichromate to more solution. So iron 2 plus is becoming iron 3 plus, and that is that electron, the electron transfer which is occurring between iron 2 plus and iron 3 plus. So that is conducted by the platinum OR, and then the cycle is completed by using the reference electrode. Here it is the Calomel electrode. You know the reference electrode, the potential already we know. And here the change in potential is measured by the platinum, means like the analyte is changed. So the electron, the one electron is indicated, or the like it is conducted through platinum OR, and the whole electrochemical cycle is completed. So we can determine the EMF by using the potentiometer. Any doubt for this until this? Any doubt till now?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand the reaction? What is happening in this titration? Okay.
Yes,
Okay, so good morning, sir. Class रे अछि टिके परे फोन करछु. So as I already told you, the real world application of this analysis. So here we can it is used in environmental like in detergent manufacturing industries, and the water quality, and in food industry, and clinical chemistry, So it is also used to determine what we are determining, the irons present in that water or like our blood. So these things we are determining. Okay. So these are the apparatus used here. Potentiometer. This is the like instrument used to determine the EMF changed in the in the in the medium or in your test reaction. So they are the potential changes we are measuring by using the potentiometer. Burette, here you will take your potassium dichromate. Pipette you will use to measure the morsel solution, and the magnetic stirrer with a hot plate. It is used to heat the reaction, and the magnetic stirrer is actually, there is a magnetic pellet that will be put inside the beaker where you will take the test solution and you will stir it, because in a particular area the concentration should not be high, so to make it uniform you will stir it. Okay, so this is a mechanical stirrer actually. So we are using like a pellet, and this is the plate where we will place our beaker containing the test solution. So potassium dichromate and sulfuric acid, more salt, these are already used in the last experiment where we have like determined the iron 2 plus in more salt solution in K-for titration method. So reference electrode, you know, the electrode which has a well-known electrode potential like calomel electrode. Any reference electrode, any other reference electrode, do you know? Do you know any other reference electrode just like calomel electrode?
Hydrogen electrode.
Yes, queen hydrogen electrode. Any other? What about hydrogen electrode?
Yes, ma'am.
It is also a primary reference electrode. So indicator electrode. So this will form an electrochemical half cell with the ions in the test solution. So here we have taken platinum. Sometimes also carbon electrode, glassy carbon electrodes are being used, which will form a half cell with the test solution. Where the ion is changed means where the analyte is changed and there is the electron transfer is occurring. So that will be indicated by the indicator electrode, and it will form a half cell, another half cell by the reference electrode. When the complete like a cell will be formed, then the EMF will be measured by your instrument. So some of the important points you should know. So like the glass part of the electrode, it should be cleaned with clean water or DI water, deionized water, using a soft tissue paper. Okay, and it should be immersed in the solution, otherwise it will be dry. Okay, so as you are not doing offline, so it is not required now. So everything, but you should know. So the procedure parts I will discuss with you, but the important part is that what is happening in this titration method is that during the change in analyte, the electron is measured, like the complete half cell is like the half cell is formed with the platinum wire or the indicator electrode, and the reference electrode is here. So when the complete cycle is done, then we are measuring by using our instrument. This is the observation table. So you will add 0.5 ml of potassium dichromate from the burette to your test solution, and the change in EMF you will note it down here, and then you will draw a graph. You will plot a graph with a change in EMF with respect to change in volume and the volume of potassium dichromate you have taken. Okay, so definitely will the curve will be like this, because some at once, like sometimes it will increase and a particular moment it will again decrease. So where the highest peak, because at one of the point where all the iron 2 plus will be changed to iron 3 plus, so there is no more iron 2 plus again in the solution, so that's why it is decreased. So by using the formula N1B1 and N2B2, you will find out the strength of iron 2 plus present in your test solution. So this is all about your titration, potentiometric titration method. So if you have any queries or any doubt, we can discuss now. Students, do you have any queries?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Everything is understood. Shall I ask any question?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, could you please tell the oxidizing agent in the reaction?
We are using the oxidizing agent. Now, what your question I could not understand.
Now, can you explain the reaction once?
Okay. So the reaction is in between potassium dichromate and iron 2 plus. And here it is, here H plus is from the sulfuric acid only.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here the oxidizing agent is potassium dichromate. And that is reduced itself, it is reduced to Cr3 plus, Cr plus 7 to Cr3 plus it is reduced, and iron 2 plus is oxidized, iron 2 plus to iron 3 plus. Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So what is the use of sulfuric acid here?
To produce the H plus.
Yes, it is as the, you can think of as catalyst, acid catalysis kind of. So in the presence of H plus, it is happening. So why you are using heat? You are heating it to faster the reaction. Okay. You know, with increasing temperature, the reaction rate is also increases. Do you know temperature coefficient? So in the kinetics, we'll kinetics, chemical kinetics, we will discuss these things. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more questions? Anything you want to discuss? No. Okay then. So now I'll request to Manoj sir, you will proceed for the procedure part.
Ma'am, marks,
Marks, which marks? Which marks?
quiz,
So
quiz,
that
ma'am.
I'll discuss in the theory class. So here only the practical, anything related to your laboratory class that will be discussed.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so these 2 hours is important to complete the practical. Okay, sir, please continue.
Okay, thank
Good
you.
morning, sir.
Okay, good morning to all of you.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning,
So,
sir.
good morning. So you can see today we are going to carry out experiment number 5. So as you see in experiment number 5, we are going to carry out a titration by using a potentiometer. So this is not a potentiometric titration. In real sense, it is a redox titration because you know from the beginning that madam, you are there or not? Rosie, madam? Okay, so as you see here, we are going to carry out a redox titration because the titrations are named according to the reaction involved. So in this case, as you see, we are going to carry out the titration between potassium dichromate, which is the oxidizing agent, and the more salt solution, which is the reducing agent. So the reaction is in between the oxidizing agent and reducing agent. So we can say that we are going to carry out a redox titration. And as you know, whenever you are going to carry out any titration, always our basic aim is to identify the endpoint. And once we got the endpoint, then we can do the calculation by using N1V1 is equal to N2V2. And till now, we have completed 4 experiments. In all these cases, we are able to identify the endpoint by using the indicator. But in this experiment, we are going to identify the endpoint by using a potentiometer. And when we are going to use a potentiometer, what we can measure? Can you tell? By using a potentiometer, what we can measure?
So EMF.
We are going to measure the EMF. So we are going to check the EMF of the solution. So while we are carrying out the titration, at a different stages of the titration, we are going to check the EMF of the solution. And from there, we are going to check the change in the EMF. How much EMF is changed when you are adding a particular volume of potassium dichromate solution. And again from there, we are going to calculate the ratio of del EMF versus del V. At which point of the titration, this ratio, del EMF by del V, will be the maximum one, will be the highest one. That will be our endpoint. That means we have to see that at how much volume of potassium dichromate is required to see the maximum change in the EMF of the solution. Maximum change in the EMF of the solution. And we are going to see this one by carrying out the titration. Unlike every other titration, you will find that for this experiment we are going to do 2 observation tables. One observation table is to get your raw feed, because you have seen that while we are carrying out the titration, the first observation or the raw observation we are taking by addition of 0.5. Here also we are going to see the raw feeding by adding 0.5. That means the first observation table we are going to see the change in the EMF by addition of 0.5 ml of potassium dichromate at a log. We will add 0.5, check the EMF. Then add another 0.5, check the EMF. And at which point, suppose we have started from 0 and we have proceeded up to 6 ml. At 6 ml, we have seen that there is a change in the EMF. The ratio is not very large, but at 6.5, we have observed the change in the EMF is very drastic, very sharp. And after 6.5, again the EMF is changing, again the EMF is decreasing. So as we have seen that suppose at 6.5 the ratio of del EMF by del V is maximum. So we can say 6.5 is our raw observation. Then we will carry out another observation table. And in that observation table, we will check the change in EMF between 6 to 6.5. And again we will see at exactly which point the ratio of del EMF by del V is maximum. Okay, so when you will do the experiment, you will be able to understand. So let's see how to carry out the experiment.
Wait a second. Mono sir?
Madam, sharing ଟା କଣ କର?
ଗୋଟେ ମିନିଟ୍ ହଁ ହେଇଗଲା।
So let's see how to carry out this experiment. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see here we are going to use the same type of glassware. We require the burette, 50 ml capacity burette, and we also require the pipette. We are going to use a 25 ml pipette for this experiment. And in this case, the pipette which we are going to use is a graduated pipette. You can use also volumetric pipette, there is no problem. And we do not require any conical flask. We have to carry out the titration in a beaker because we have to dip the electrode. So see the chemicals, you can see this is the more salt solution, a light greenish in color. The more salt solution. This one is the potassium dichromate solution. And here the normality of potassium dichromate is given to you. It is 1/20 N. So normality of potassium dichromate is given. By using that one, you are going to determine the ferrous iron content. And here also we require the sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid, or you can say we are going to use 6N sulfuric acid. These are the chemicals required for this experiment. No indicator is necessary for this one. And distilled water as usual. And you also require a potentiometer. This is the potentiometer, you can see. So in the burette, we are going to take a potassium dichromate solution. So like every other titration, you have to wash the burette, pipette, or use the distilled water, rinse the burette with the potassium dichromate, and then you have to fill it. And after filling the burette with the potassium dichromate solution, you have to adjust your burette reading to any whole number. You can start from 0, you can start from 10. It does not matter because here we are not going to take the initial burette reading or final burette reading. This one is the measuring cylinder which is being shown to you. So in the observation table, you will find there is no initial burette reading or final burette reading. From where you start, it does not matter, but you have to add exact value. You can see this is the graduated pipette. In this pipette, the marking is there. So in this beaker, we are going to carry out the test. We have not taken any conical flask. And the instrument you can check, this one is the potentiometer. Here you will get the observation. At this point, you will get your readings. This one, you can see there are two knobs. This knob is called a set zero knob. Set zero. I will tell you, I will explain you what is the function of this knob while you are carrying out the experiment or while you are going to take the observation. The next knob is Tarrer knob. That means by rotating that knob, we can mix up the solution. We can mix the solution through. And you can see there are two different electrodes. You can check the electrode. This electrode is the reference electrode, or we can say it is the calomel electrode. It is mercurous chloride. Okay? And you can see there is a solution. This is saturated potassium chloride solution. It is called as the calomel electrode. This one is your platinum electrode. You can call it also as the indicator electrode. This is your platinum electrode. And we are going to use a magnetic bead. You can see the magnetic bead, which we will put into the solution, and that magnetic bead will rotate to mix up the solution. We stir the solution. You can say magnetic bead, you can say magnetic bar. We are going to use the tissue paper. So at the very beginning, you have to wash the electrode thoroughly with the distilled water. So keep a beaker at the base of the electrode and wash the electrode thoroughly by using the distilled water. Now you can make it dry by using the tissue paper. Just soak the water contents from the electrode. And this is your more for solution, you can see. And from the more salt solution, you take out 25 ml of more salt solution. And before that one, you should wash the electrode, rinse the electrode with the more salt solution. First wash it with the distilled water. Then arrange the electrode by taking a few ml more salt solution from the beaker. Throw up that solution, or you can say you discard that solution. Now tip it out. Adjust the volume up to 0 mark. Now take out the solution to the beaker. So we have taken 25 ml of more salt solution in the beaker. To that one, you add approximately 10 ml of dilute sulfuric. And you know this reaction occurs in acidified medium. Okay, add into the beaker. Now you take the electrode and keep it on the top of the instrument, and it should be kept on the specified area. You can see there is a specified area, there is a circular mark. You have to keep the beaker on that area. And now you dip the electrode, and while you are going to dip the electrode, there is a limit. Beyond that limit, you cannot make it down. There is a particular limit. Beyond that limit, you cannot make it down. And at that limit, you can see when we are going to the limit, you can see the electrodes are not deep with the solution. So if the electrodes are not deep with the solution, you will not be able to get any observation or reading. So to make the electrodes deep, you go on adding distilled water. You go on adding distilled water till the electrodes are deep with the solution. You can add 20 ml, you can add 50 ml, you can add 60 ml, 70 ml, there is no problem. But you should ensure that the electrodes, both the electrodes are deep with the solution. Because you see, what we are going to measure, we are going to measure the ferrous ion content. So if you will add 100 ml of distilled water to that beaker, the ferrous content or the amount of ferrous is not going to be changed. Once you are tipped it out, if you are adding distilled water, the amount of ferrous ion is not going to be changed. So you should not bother how much of distilled water is to be added. But you add distilled water till the electrodes are deep with the solution. And in that beaker, we have to also put a magnetic bead or magnetic bar, which will stir the solution, which will mix up the solution. So see first, we are adding distilled water. This portion must be this. base portion of the electrode. And in the period already we have taken potassium dichromate solution. I have told you the period has been rinsed with potassium dichromate, and after rinsing we are filling the period with potassium dichromate and adjusted the volume to any whole number. We have started our period reading from any whole number so that it will be easy to add 0.5. Okay. So we are going to put a magnetic bead or magnetic bar, you can say. This is the magnetic bar. Now you see, I have told you in the instrument there is the steering knob, and you have to rotate the steering knob. This one. When you will rotate the steering knob, the magnetic bead will rotate so that the solution will be mixed through. Okay. Now you see, we have not started the titration. We have not started the titration. We have only taken the potassium dichromate solution. So at the very beginning of the titration, you adjust the EMF of the solution to 0 by using this knob. This is your state 0 now. It's clearly written state 0. By using this knob, make the EMF of the solution adjusted to 0. Because in this experiment, we are not going to check what is the exact EMF of the solution. We are going to check how much EMF is changed when we are adding a definite volume of potassium dichromate. So at the very beginning, when we have not added any potassium dichromate solution, make the EMF of the solution adjusted to 0. So till now, we have not started the addition of potassium dichromate. So make it 0. So after making it 0, go on adding exactly 0.5 ml of potassium dichromate from the bead. So exactly, this procedure should be followed very carefully. Exactly, you have to add 0.5 ml of potassium dichromate. And you have to wait for 1 minute till the value gets stabilized. So you can note down simultaneously in your Ross observation table. 0.5, yes.
So we have to make 2 observation tables for demonstration one.
Oh, हाँ, yes, demonstration observation के लिए 2 टेबल, एक रॉक observation के लिए, another is one is for to get the confident one.
So like we total we have to make 4 observations, right?
It's a definitely 4 observation.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So you just see, we have added 0.5 ml and the EMF is 46. Now you add another 0.5 ml. So when you are adding another 0.5 ml potassium dichromate to the beaker, the total volume of potassium dichromate in the beaker will be 1 ml. Because already you have added 0.5 in the previous observation. So now when you are adding another 0.5, the volume of potassium dichromate is 1. And again you have to wait for 1 minute and see at 1 ml the EMF is 62. Then another 0.5 we have added. At 1.5 it is 75. Then adding another 0.5. Now it is 86. At 2.0 it is 86. At 2.5 it is 96. Then at the 3 ml we are getting 106. And you will find in a minute the value will be stabilized. 3.5 it is 116. At 4 ml it is 127. Next you add another 0.5 ml. It is 139. At 4.5 you are getting 139. Next add another 0.5. You just observe the readings. Now this observation is at 5 ml, you are getting 158. At 5 ml, you are getting 158.
Sir, how many observations we have to take?
You see, how many, from the titration you can decide how many observations is to be taken. You see that, then I will take. So at 5.5, you are getting 290. At 5.5, you are getting 290. Then we are going to take, you just observe the reading. Again, I am making it back, you just observe. At 5 ml, 5.5 it is 290. Now when we are adding another 0.5 ml, you just observe what happens. You just observe the reading, what happens. You can see there is a drastic change in the EMF. And the EMF is changing continuously. So in here, we have to wait till the value gets stabilized. In the previous observation, you will see within 1 minute the value gets stabilized. But where there is a drastic change in the EMF, it will take some time to be stabilized because the reaction is to be completed. So in between, you can calculate what is the del EMF, what is the change in the EMF. You can see at 0.5 it is blank, at 1 ml. What is the difference? 62 minus 46 is 60. You just observe so that when I will give you the data of the experiment observation table, you can calculate. So in the second one, 75 minus 62, 13. In this one, 86 minus 75 is 11. This one, 96 minus 86, 10. Then 106 minus 96, it is equal to 10. Then this 116 minus 106, it is also 10. Then this one, 127 minus 116, it is 11. This one, 139 minus 127, it is 12. This one, 158 minus 139, it will be around 90. It is 90. Then this one 219 minus 158, it will be 61. So you can see how to calculate del EMF by del V. Del EMF is 16 and del V, you can see what is the del V? Change in EMF is equal to 0.5. In every case, the change in volume is 0.5. So 16 divided by 0.5, that is 32. 13 divided by 0.5, 26. So you just make it down. It is a 22. In each case, you can see the change in volume in each case is 0.5. Then 22. This one is 20. This one is also 20. Again 20. This is 22. This is 24. This one is 38. This one is 122. Now you see the observation. What happens at 6 ml because we have lead. Now you check the instrument. At 6 ml you are getting it is 450. You see, there is a very drastic change in the EMF. And once there is a very drastic change in the EMF, after that one you have to take another 1, 2 or 3 observations. And you can see the color of the solution. The color of the solution is changed because the reaction is completed. And you will observe that there is very less change in the EMF after you are getting a very sharp change. So at 6.5 you are getting 456. So you have to take, once you get a drastic change, after that one you can take 2 to 3 more observations. So that you will be able to see that at this point the del EMF by del V is the maximum, then it is a decrease. That means you have already reached the end point. Yes, yes.
Sir, at 7, what is the EMF?
At 7 it is 460.
Okay, sir.
At 7.5 it is 463. You do not have to take more of it. You do not have to take. And you can see in this case at 6.0 you are getting the del EMF is 231. And naturally the del EMF by del V will be 462. This one change is 6, then it is 12. This one is 4, it will be 8. And this one is 3, and it will be 6. So from this observation table you can see it very clearly that if you take the del EMF by del V value in all the cases, you can see at 6 ml you are getting the del EMF by del V is the maximum. And after that one, it will be almost constant. If you take more observation after this one, the value will remain constant. There will be no change in the EMF. Okay. So that means you have observed at 6 ml the ratio is the maximum one. So we can say that 6 ml is our rough observation. That means we do not know because we have not checked what occurs between 5.5 to 6. We have checked up to 5.5 by adding 0.5. After 5.5, we have gone up to 6. And at 6, we have seen there is a sharp change in the EMF. So 6 ml is our rough observation. And we do not know whether there will be a sharp change at 5.6 or 5.7 or 5.9 or 6 ml. We do not know. So that we have to check in the second observation. From the first observation table, we are able to know the range. Our range is 5.5 to 6. Because the field 5.5, there is no sharp change. At 6 ml, we are getting a sharp change. So the range of our rough observation is 5.5 to 6. So when we are going to take the second observation table, what we will do? We will proceed in the same manner. We will pipette out 25 ml R sulfuric, then our distilled water, the electrode, and we will add directly 5.5 ml because we are sure that within 5.5 there will be no drastic change. We have seen that one. So we will add directly 5.5. Then we will check the change in EMF by addition of 0.1, 0.1 potassium nitrate.
Sir,
Yes,
so what is the range? 5.5 to 6.
because you see, you just see that if you take your observation table, at 6 ml you are getting a drastic change. The del EMF by del B is the maximum, is not it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
5.5, there is no drastic change. So that
Yes.
means you are getting the drastic change in between this one, 5.5 to 6.
Yes, sir. Yes. Understood.
So after this one, we are going to carry out another observation table from where we are going to get the exact volume which will be required to get the endpoint. So actually, we do not have to start from 5. We have to start from 5.5 to 6. But for your confirmation, it is written 5.0 to 6. But in the real sense, we do not have to check from 5 because we know till 5.5 there is no drastic change. So when you are going to write in the observation table, you don't write from 5. You just see from 5, but you will write from 5.5 to 6.0. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this is the demonstration one or the?
Yes, yes. This is the demonstration one.
Okay, sir.
All of you have to write this one. After this one, I will give you the observation table which you have to write for the experiment by using which data you are going to calculate.
But in this experiment, we have two demonstration table, one and observation. Two.
Yes, because this one is for to get the raw reading, another one is to get the concordant.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you see, again we are taking 25 ml of more salt solution. So that one we are adding the sulfuric acid.
So we have to start from 5 now. 5 ml.
No, I am going to tell you. You see, in this observation table, it is written from 5, but you do not have to write from 5. You have to write from 5.5. Because we are sure, if you take the first observation table, you can see till 5.5 there is no drastic change. At 6, you are getting the drastic change. So your range is from 5.5 to 6. You have to check from 5.5 to 6. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
But for your confirmation, to show you, it is written from 5 to 6.
Okay, sir.
You will
We
not
have
be
to write from
confused.
5.5.
Yes,
So we have to write from 5.5.
yes, definitely.
So here
Okay.
we have to make the solution again.
Yes, yes.
So this
You
solution.
see, we have whatever solution we have taken for doing the observation table 1, we have to throw out that one. Because you know, when you are doing the titration, after the first observation, you are throwing out the solution, washing the conical flask, and again doing the pipetting. Similarly, in this case, after doing the first observation table, you have to throw out the solution in the beaker. And again, you have to pipette out 50 ml of more salt, 25 ml of more salt solution.
Okay, sir.
We are taking 25 ml of more salt solution. To that one, we are adding sulfuric acid. And you have to wash the electrode again. Okay. You have to wash the electrode. And now you add distilled water and again increase the volume because the electrode must be deep. Now stare the solution, and in this case you see the difference. Here you will not make it to 0 again. In the first observation table you have made it to 0 before starting the titration. But while you are going to take the second observation table, don't make it to 0. Whatever is there, 50%. Don't make it to 0. So directly, as it is being told, we have got 5.5, but here it is shown to you from 5. So what happens? Here 5 ml is being directly added. You see what happens when you are adding 5 ml. You do not have to write from 5 ml. You will write from 5.5. So we are adding 5 ml and we are getting the reading is 163. You see, you should not be confused. I will explain it at the end. You see, when you are adding 5 ml in the first observation table, you are getting 158. But here you are adding 5 ml the same solution. You are pipetting out the same potassium dichromate, same more salt solution, and adding the same potassium dichromate. But in the second observation table, you are getting it is 163. So you should not be confused. Here we are getting 158. Why you are getting it here at 163? I will explain it at the end. So you write down what you are getting 163. Now to the solution. You will not add 0.5. You will add 0.1. That means 2 drops. 0.1 means 2 drops. You add 0.1 exactly. And wait for 1 minute, record the observation. You are getting this one is 166. Sorry, 69, 169. 169. Then add another 0.1, it will be 5.2. You are getting 176. Then add another 0.1. You are getting it is 185. Now add another 0.1. You are getting 197. Now go on adding another 0.1. You are getting 290. You can see in this case you are getting almost same. Yes, 5.5 210. Here you are getting the same.
Sir, 200?
90. 219.
So from here we have to write now 209.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now at a 5.6, you see there is a drastic change. The reading is changing. So here also you have to do the calculation in the same manner, del unit by del P. So when the reading is changing, you have to wait. If the reading is constant, within 1 minute you record. If again it is changing, then you have to wait. So you can see how the daily EMF is being calculated. The first one you can see 59 minus 63 is.
Sir, we have to write the whole table.
No. You have to write from 5.5. Let's see how it is being calculated. So when you are going to write from 5.5, the first one you will make it blank.
सर टेबल 2 लिखना है आंसर 5.5 से.
Yes.
ओके सर.
When you are going to calculate del EMF by del V, here del V is 0.1. It is not 0.5, it is 0.1. So 6 divided by 0.1, 60. 7 divided by 0.1, 70. 9 divided by 0.1, 90. Similarly, it is being written. So you remember how to do the calculation. So you see at 5.6 you are getting it is 407, and at 5.7 5.7
5.6 EMF value.
5.6 is 407.
Okay, sir.
5.7 you are getting 415. 5.7 you are getting 415.
Sir, 15 or 50?
415.
Okay.
Then 5.8 you are getting 420. 5.8 you are getting 420. And after that one we are adding another 5.8 you are getting 420. Now this observation we are going to take at 5.9. What happens at 5.9 you say. In between we can do the calculation.
Sir, what is 5.6?
5.6 is 407. It is 450, so definitely difference is 8. Next one is 420, so it is 5, it is 15. So once you have seen that the value gets a decrease, the ratio gets a decrease, you may have to take 2 or 3 more of them. But for your
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can you dictate our after 407?
407 के बाद 415, then 420, then 425, and the last one is now what is the reading? 428. The last one is 428. It's 428. We do not have to take more of the question. It is 428. So at 6 ml you are getting it is 428. And now you can see so from this observation table you can see that we have seen that at 5.6, if you see the corresponding value of potassium dichromate, at exactly 5.6 ml, we are getting the ratio of del EMF by del V is the maximum. So that means exactly we require 5.6 ml of potassium dichromate to get our endpoint. So when we will go for the calculation, you can see N1. Suppose N1. What is N1? You see your manual and tell me. What is N1?
Sir, normality of Fe
1 by 20.
more salt solution.
Normality of?
Fe2 plus ionic more salt solution.
You have to find out. It is not given to me. What is V1?
The volume of more salt solution.
How much more salt solution you have taken? How
Sir,
much?
0.5.
25 ml.
How much
25.
more? It is a 25 ml. You have taken 25 ml of salt. You have pipetted out. Next, N2.
Sir, volume is 0.5.
No. N1, what is V1? You tell me.
Sir, volume of more salt solution.
How much more salt solution you have taken?
Sir, N by 20.
25 ml.
25 ml.
You have pipetted out more salt solution. So you have taken 25 ml of more salt solution. So B1 is equal to 20. What is N2? What is N2?
एक मिनट.
N by
0.2.
20.
Sir, normality of K2Cr2. Sir.
Yes, it is 1 by 20 N. It is 1 by 20 N.
Yes.
What is V2?
Volume of potassium permanganate.
0.1 ml.
Volume of potassium dichromate solution required for the N1. What is that one? You can
5.6.
It is 5.6. So now you can calculate what is N1. And after getting N1, you multiply with the equivalent weight of morsel, equivalent weight of ferrous, that is equal to 5.8.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
What is V2? Volume of K2Cr2O7 solution.
How much it is? It is 5. If you check this observation table, it is 5.6. Because at 5.6 there is a drastic change in the ratio of del EMF by del Q. So that is why it is 5.6. It is for this one. It is not for your experiment. It is for the demonstration observation table I am talking about. So you can calculate what is the N1, and after getting N1, you can multiply with the equivalent weight of iron 55.85 and determine the strength, whatever you are getting. So at the end, you can write the strength of ferrous iron present in the more salt solution was found out to be this one. So now come to your experiment, this one. I will share the observation table. Let's see. So if you check both observation tables, you can see for the calculation purpose, we do not require any graph. Graph is not necessary for the calculation. But we are going to plot the graph to study the nature of the curve, how it is changing with respect to the change in the volume of potassium dichromate. And we are going to plot the graph not by using the second table. We are going to plot the graph by using the first observation table. From the second observation table, we are going to get the value directly. It is 5.6. We are getting it directly. No necessity of plotting. So when I will share the observation table, you will plot the graph by taking the data of the first one. Okay.
So we have to make only one graph, na?
Only one graph. And second thing you see, if you check, now you see this observation table, the first observation table you see. In the first observation table, you have seen that at 6 ml, you are getting your rough observation, because at 6 ml, there is a drastic change. So from the first observation table, we are able to determine our rough reading is 6. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see, suppose I will change this value. Is the 46 है, ठीक है, ये 46 है. अभी ये जो 62 को मैं 71 कर दूँगा. I'll change this one to 71, and this one को मैं कर दूँगा 79. I'll change the value, but this one remains same. Which one? This one, 450. If I will change 46 to 49, 3 or 4 I will change. Each one को मैं 4 ऐड कर दूँगा. कि किसी को 4, किसी को 5, किसी को 3 ऐड कर दूँगा. Whether my rough reading is going to be changed or not. Are you getting to my question?
Yes, sir.
If I change ईच वैल्यू को, किसी को 4 ऐड कर दूंगा, किसी को 3 ऐड कर दूंगा, किसी को 2 ऐड कर दूंगा. Whether my raw reading is going to be changed or not.
No.
Whether my reading is going to be changed or not.
No, sir.
My raw reading is not going to be changed. Because if you check the observation table, I am not bothered about the individual EMF value. 0.5 may whether it is 45 or 42, it does not matter to me. At 1 ml, whether it is 62 or 69, it does not matter to me. What I am going to see in this experiment, I am going to see at which point the ratio del EMF by del V is the maximum. I am going to observe that one. I am not going to observe any other thing. At a particular point, what is the EMF? I am not going to observe that. I am going to observe at which point the ratio is the maximum. And second thing, you can see, suppose it is 122. If it is 350, suppose it is 462, it is not 462. Suppose it is 350. All other things remain same. It is 32, 26, 22, 20, 20, 20, 22, 24, 38. It is also 122. But these 462, it is not 462. It is, suppose I will change this one to 350. And the rate observation remains same. It is 12, it is 8, it is 6. Whether your operating is going to be changed?
No, sir.
It is also not good. So another conclusion you draw that we are not bothered about the value of maximum. We are only observing which one is maximum, whether it is 350 or 280 or 260, it does not matter. We are checking in comparison to the other one at which point the ratio of del EMF by del V is the maximum. We are not bothered whether it is 462 or 1000, it has no meaning. And while you are doing the calculation, at no point you are using the EMF value, or you are using the del EMF value, or you are using del EMF by del V. Are you using this value at any point of the calculation? You are not using this value. You are using the volume of potassium dichromate. So volume of potassium dichromate is important to us. At no place we are using the EMF value. At no place we are using the del EMF by del V value. So whatever may be the value, it has no meaning. Only one thing, we have to see which one is the maximum. Are you getting or not?
Yes,
Is
sir.
there any, yes? Is there any confusion?
No, sir.
So that is why when you, in practical sense you are observing this experiment virtually. But sometimes what happens, you are adding 0.5 ml and you are observing it is 46. And you are waiting for, I have told you, you wait for 1 minute and take the observation. And you are waiting for 1 minute. After 1 or 2 minutes you have observed that it is changed to 47. And you will be confused whether I will write 46 or 47. Which one I will write? So it is no meaning. You write 46, you write 47. It does not matter. But at which point you are observing that every 5 to 10 seconds a millivolt change. In that case, you have to wait. If after 3 minutes or 4 minutes 2 millivolt has been changed, it has no meaning. But after waiting for 1 or 2 minutes, you have observed 30 millivolt has been changed. In that case, you have to wait till it gets stabilized. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
So now I will share the observation table which you will write for your experiment. And sometimes it also happens, another thing I am going to tell. Suppose,
Sir,
yes,
we have to submit graph in graph paper or blank side.
in graph paper, yes, yes. Yes, yes. No, I am going to tell you, you will. Suppose in some cases, I have told you, if at 6 ml you are getting in the second observation table, suppose that 6 ml you are getting a drastic change. In that case, you have to take another observation, 6.1 tak lena. So it is always better to take the observation if you are getting the raw reading is 6. Suppose the raw reading is getting 6. It is always better to take the observation from 5.5 to 6.1. If you are getting the drastic change is at 6 ml, you have to take one more observation. Because again, you have to confirm that the ratio is decreasing. Because if the ratio is the maximum at 6 ml, you cannot confirm whether it is your exact endpoint or not. 6.1 be also. So that is why you take 6.1, and if you are getting at 6.1, the ratio is decreasing, then it is confirmed that your endpoint is at 6 ml. But here, as you are getting at 5.6 ml, there is a drastic change. So you have to take up to 5.8. 5.9, 6.0 is also not necessary in this case. But for your observation, it is shown to you what happens if you will take more number of observations. So now I will share the observation table. Can you see the observation table?
Yes, sir.
Can you this observation table first you write? I have not written the del EMF by del V value. You will write this first one is blank. Otherwise you will be confused. The
So
second
the first
one,
observation table.
yes, this is the first observation table. First you write, then I will go to the second one. And you have to plot the graph by taking the data from this one.
Sir, this is for all the roll numbers.
Yes, it is for all the rows.
Demonstration.
And when you are going to plot the graph, you have to plot the graph by taking the data of this one. Volume of potassium dichromate versus del EMF by del V. Once you have written this observation table, you will tell me so that I will go to the next second observation table.
Sir, up to where, sir?
Yes, yes.
So up to where the whole
थोड़ा
table?
रुकिएगा.
I am not getting
Sir,
what you
up
are
to
asking.
where, sir? Like up to how many observations?
No, no, you see, here it is 16 observations.
Okay, sir. Okay.
This
We
is
have to
the
write
first
all
observation.
16. No, sir?
This is the first observation table.
We have
Because
to write all 16 observations.
yes, definitely. And you can see
Sir,
here.
you have to do calculation also from this table, na?
No, no, no. You do not have to do the calculation for this. I am sharing another observation table. You have written this one.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
First you write this one, then you tell me. So in this observation table, which one is the rough observation?
6.5.
Because you see 6.5, there is a drastic change.
Done, sir.
Next, second observation table, as you are getting 6.5 is your off observation, so I have taken the observation from 6 to 6.6. This is the observation table 2. So from this one, can you tell me which one is the concordant observation at which volume?
6.3.
6.3.
6.3.
Yes, 6.3. This one also blank. So is there any confusion for the calculation of del EMF by del V?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. In these observation table, are we supposed to write the remarks also, like rough, concordant?
No.
Okay, sir.
So is there any difficulty for calculating del EMF by del V?
No, sir.
You calculate now. If there is any problem, you tell me.
Sir, which table we have to use for calculation? Observation table 2 or first?
Observation table 2, because from observation table 2 you are getting the definite volume.
Okay,
You
sir.
get observation table 1. This observation table will be utilized for the graph only. And in the graph you have to take, in the x-axis you see, in the x-axis how many divisions are there? Can you tell me in your graph paper? In your graph paper, how many divisions are there in your x-axis?
So 19 on the x-axis.
In the x-axis, how many divisions are there? In your graph paper, you tell me. How many large divisions are there? One same division.
So 20.
20.
Yes, sir.
And the y-axis?
$25.
In the x-axis, you have 20 division. In the y-axis, you have 25 division. Okay, so in the x-axis, you can take 2 cm is equal to 1 mm. So that 16 division will be required. 2 cm is equal to 1 mm in the x-axis. This will be the scale. In the y-axis, you can choose 1 cm is equal to 20 millivolt by ml. Are you getting?
Sir, for x-axis?
X-axis 2 centimeter is equal to 1 ml. You can choose. In the y-axis, you can choose 1 cm is equal to 20 millivolt by ml. Because the del EMF by del V का unit क्या होगा? Millivolt by ml. So in the y-axis, 1 cm is equal to 20 millivolt by ml. And you remember while you are plotting the points on your graph paper, all the points, you make a fine dot and encircle that point. Small circle around that point. And you have to plot all the points and you have to write all the thing on your graph paper with pencil. Only your roll number should be written with pen on the graph paper. And after plotting the points, you can see that where the change is minimum, where the del M by del B is minimum, you join with freehand. That means till 6 ml, the change is very gradual. Till 6 ml, you can join freehand. From 6 to 6.5, there is a sharp change. You join with a scale. From 6 to 6.5, you have to join with a scale. From 6.5 to 7, there is a sharp fall, sharp decrease. You join with a scale. The rest one you have to join with free. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
From 1 ml up to 6 ml, you have to join with freehand because there is a gradual change. From 6 to 6.5, you have to join with a scale. From 6.5 to 7, again there is a sharp change. You have to join with a scale. And from 6.5 to 8, from 7 to 8, there is a gradual change. You have to join with freehand.
So delta V will be same for both the.
Yes, delta V for the first observation table is 0.5, change in volume. For the second observation table, del V is equal to 0.1. Because change in volume for every observation is 0.1, 0.1. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Sir, marks.
Marks I can show you. You can see.
So,
Yes.
yes, 777.
Down, sir. Down, sir.
Sir, 777.
Yes, yes. Which one?
777.
The 777 the? This
Yes,
one?
sir. Yes, sir.
Conclusion. Can you read your conclusion? Can you read the conclusion?
A normality of water sample due to dissolved O2 is
It is all
0,
right. Yes, it is all right. Then next part.
and the amount of dissolved water sample by Winkel's method.
What you have measured? Diesel water में measure किया और diesel oxygen measure किया. What is that one? Diesel water or diesel oxygen?
So,
And when you are writing, you should write the proper thing. You are measuring diesel oxygen, but you are writing diesel water. So you always remember, because whenever you are writing the experiment, your main part of the experiment is aim and conclusion. What you are writing, because at the end anyone will read the conclusion, what you are writing there.
okay.
Anybody has any problem, you can tell.
Sir, please scroll down.
Yes.
So 768.
Yes, yes, yes.
768.
768. Observation table, demonstration observation table. ये 0 4.5 4.5 ठीक है, ये 4.5 9.5 4.5, फिर 9.5 13.5 4.5. Then next observation table check करो. 0 4.5 4.5 4.5 8.9. Then 13.3 17.3 4.4. Are you able to identify your mistake or not?
Yes, sir.
All these observation table has been shared. ये तो share why you are doing wrong. On another observation table, I am showing you the experiment and I am also writing the data on the whiteboard. You just have to copy it down. And after copying it down, if I have done the mistake, you can rectify me. But while you are writing 4.5, 9.5, you should see how the difference is 4.5. And these are the
Sir, after the second observation table, direct calculation.
yes, second observation table के बाद calculation.
सर सर ग्राफ मतलब उसके बाद करेंगे.
हाँ, ग्राफ तो अलग पेज में होगा ना.
हाँ सर ठीक.
हेलो सर.
Yes.
सर जो क्लास अटेंड नहीं कर पाया था पिछले क्लास वाला, उसका क्या होगा?
At the end, so after completion of 10 experiment, we will decide.
ओके सर.
Sir, 844.
So can you tell me why I have deducted the mark?
No, sir.
Till now, how many experiments we have done? Till this experiment.
5.
Yes. No, I am talking about till diesel oxygen. You have completed 4 experiments.
4.
Till your and I have also told you where you have to write concordance. Yes or no?
Okay.
Till now, whether you are able to find your mistake or not.
Yes, sir.
And I have told you repeatedly what is the meaning of concordance. 3 consecutive same difference hoga to we can write concordant only once because that set is a concordant one. And why you are writing concordant? Because I have the observation table which I have shared or the observation table which I have written on the board. Have I written 3 times? Have I written? I have never written 3 times. And what you have done in experiment, we will go to, your roll number is,
844.
You are not writing your roll number. You should, you have to write your roll number. Nowhere you have written your roll number, your name, signature, nothing is there.
So from next time I'll do.
We see, and I want to check one thing. 844. 844 experiment number 3 may I want to see what you have done. 844. You see yourself, 844. You have written concordant only once, this one also once, and here also you are writing concordant once, you are writing concordant once, here you are writing your name, roll number, all the things. And why you are changing yourself? एक experiment once लिख रहे हो और एक experiment 3 बार लिख रहे हो. That means you do not know whether I have to write concordant only once or 3 times. Yes, sir, Ram.
Sir, I know.
But why you are writing 3 times? So that is why I decided to cut some marks. Otherwise, there is no meaning.
Sir,
Yes.
what will be the volume of Morse salt solution in this set?
Volume of Morse salt solution. How much you have taken? I have told you. You have prepared around 25 ml.
25 ml. Okay.
Yes.
Sir, For the second demonstration table, we need to take write the readings from 5.5 ml, right?
Yes, yes, 5.5 to 6.
Till the end, right?
Right.
Thank you, sir.
I'll stop the sharing, or is there any other one? Whether roll number 808 is there or not?
Yes, sir.
You have uploaded only the conclusion part. Nothing is there.
I have uploaded whole part, but I don't know how.
You see yourself.
Yes, sir, I see.
I have repeatedly told you, before uploading, you check whether the PDF file which you have made contain all the pages or not. Nothing is there. You see. Only one page is used.
But I
Okay, so I'll stop the sharing.